Hi everyone, trust you all are doing well. So in the previous episode, we allowed the users to cancel their subscription. So if they click this button, actually what will happen is they will add an ends add date on the subscriptions table, basically on their subscription. Now the thing about this is it only seems fair if the person paid for the whole year and they cancel their subscription, they still will be valid to still have their subscription until it obviously ends. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to give them a message to let them know, listen, when their subscription basically will end. There's a couple of ways to actually do it. If they cancel the subscription, they're completely canceled, but that's not a fair option for me in my personal opinion. So if someone paid for a year, they must be able to use their subscription for that year, even if they do cancel their subscription. And also what we're going to be implementing is actually a resume their subscription button as well. So we will give them indication when it will end and another button right here. So if they want to just resume their subscription. All right, so let's get started. All right, so this is our membership.index view. As you can see, this is the message that we get, and this is the cancel button. Now, the other thing I want to do is I don't want to get the auth user. I actually want to get that user basically from our membership controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the user. I'm going to assign that to be the authenticated user. All right, and then I'm just make sure that you bring in your auth facade right there. Otherwise, you're going to get an error, and I'm just going to pass that through to the view. Okay, so just like this, compact, and just put users in there. Right, so let's go to the view. So wherever I'm using auth user, all right, I'm just going to use the user like this because I'm passing it from the controller. Right, the next thing I'm going to do in here is I'm going to check if the person is on a grace period. So meaning, let's say they're halfway through their monthly subscription and they cancel their subscription is still valid till the end of the month. So I just want to check to when the subscription basically will end. So I'm going to create another blade. So the blade service provider right there, I'm going to create another method in here. Okay, call it blade if. Let me just copy this one down. It will be kind of easier. So otherwise I have to type out all this stuff. Right, and I'm going to create one called on grace period. So on grace period. Right, so if the person is on grace period, now the thing is what we want to do is I just want to put in the plan, the current plan of the user. Right, and then I just want to check the authenticated user. So I'm just going to do auth user. All right, I just want to check if that user is basically their subscription. Subscription is on a grace period. So I'm just going to add the plan in here, the plan that we're passing through, and we just want to check if that plan is on grace period. So this is a helper method that comes with Cacher to check if a person is still on grace period. So what it will do is it will check the ends add date in the column that I just showed you in the database. Let me just show you again. All right, so what it will do, it will check the ends add date right here. Okay, so it will come to this column and check basically when that subscription will end. Right, so that's the on grace period between now and this date. Right, so after we finish with that, we're going to go inside here, and what we're going to do, we're going to do, if they're on grace period, okay, then we need to show something else. Right, so let's quickly do on grace period. Now, as you can see, it's in there. Now, what we want to do now is we need to just want to add the plan Stripe name through like this. So I'm passing the Stripe name, and I'm just going to do an end on grace period. Okay, just like that. Now the thing is, we're going to add the subscription button, everything inside in a second. But what I want to do is, if they're on a grace period, we just want to give them a message to say when their subscription will end. So I will just say your subscription will end on Then we're just going to give a message. Then we're just going to get that user that we just passed through from the controller. So let me just quickly show you. So we're just getting authenticated user right here, and we pass it through there. That's the user. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to check their subscriptions, not with an S, just a singular. And I'm just going to add the plan Stripe name in here. Right. I'm going to check that your subscription. Then we're going to go to the ends at that column right there in the database. Okay, that property. And then we just want to format that to a more readable date for the user. And I'm just going to use D, smaller case, DFY. Okay, just like that. And I cannot make this any smaller. So we'll just do it like this so you guys can easily see what I've done. Right, so your subscription will end on, and then we obviously going to get the date of that subscription for the user right there. Okay, so let me make it a bit bigger again. Right, so that's the message. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to add a resume subscription button right here. Okay, but let's quickly see if we can view this right here. But I'm just going to give it a class as well. Let's give it a padding of 2 and BG. Let's make it BG black, or just not give it any background. Right, just make sure you put an ends, not end. Okay, let me just show you where that is so that you guys can understand. Right, so in the database, it's as ends at. Just make sure that date is the same. You spell it the same. Okay. Right, so let's quickly see this date. Right, so as you can see, John Doe paid for the year, and the message they're getting right here is your subscription will end on 16 November 2022. Right, so all good stuff. So you can obviously style it, give it a little bit green color or something. I'm just going to give it actually an indigo color. Let me do that. Right, so there's not a styling contest. So just so now the user can see your subscription will end on 6th of November. Now, another thing is now that cancel button mustn't be there anymore. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to remove this button and then replace this button with the resume subscription. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. Right, so I'm just going to add an else statement in here, and I'm going to move the cancel button up there. Okay, so let's just move this in there. Right, so just think of this on grace period as being inside the subscription product right there and just above the else statement right here. Okay, so just this is actually on its own. Let me just do this like that. Okay, but my formatter will just push it back. Okay, now the next thing above the else, we're going to add now the resume button right here. So let's just going to add the resume button. All right, so I'm going to copy the anchor tag one, and I'm just going to change it to a green button instead of blue. Instead of red, I'm just going to change it to green. All right, now instead of subscription destroy, we're going to actually call this one subscriptions update. Okay, or create or store, whatever. Let's just actually do store. We're going to create this method in a second. All right, so we're going to resume the subscription because resume sounds like an update for me. So I'm just going to call this one update. Update. Like that. Okay, so this is our resume button. So let's quickly see if we can view. But before we can do that, because we're going to get an error to say the subscriptions.update route is not created. So let's quickly do that. So in here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this one up. Instead of that, I'm just going to call this one the resume. And then we're going to pass in the subscription. Then instead of the destroy right there, we're going to go to the update method inside that. So let's go to the subscription controller. Right here is the update method. So we're still going to get the authenticated user. So I'm just going to copy this one right there. And it's quite easy. We can literally copy everything in here and paste it in there. But instead of cancel, we can just call it resume. Just like that. Easy peasy. Right. And successfully subscribed, cancel. So we need to basically let the viewer know, like, listen, you are successfully subscribed. All right, so basically what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say you resumed your monthly or yearly subscription. All right, so because I'm just going to pass that subscription in there, but this needs to be double quotes, so it treats that as a variable. Okay, so that's basically our update. Right, so the message kind of like this now. So you currently subscribe to this plan, obviously, because they still on the grace period till the 16th November 2022, because they canceled their subscription right now. So now the next thing is, as you can see, resume your subscription button is in here. So if they click this button, they can be, this message should disappear, and then the cancel button should be there right now. So let's quickly try that. Hopefully no errors. Let's do that. All right, so you successfully resumed your yearly subscription. Awesome stuff. And now, as you can see, they got the cancel subscription button right there. So if they click the cancel, and then they can basically give them a message to say, like, listen, you canceled your subscription. As you can see, you successfully canceled your subscription, and you will see when it will end right there as well. Awesome stuff. All right, so that's the end of this episode, guys. If you like it, give it a like. If you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, please leave it for me in the comment section. Right, the next part that we're going to do is, if a user sign up to our blog right here, they're going to have a global trial, let's say, of 13 days, 20 days, however you guys want to decide to do that. So we just want to do that in the next episode. All right, thank you, guys, and see you there. Adios.